served his community with pride and honor, and I'm sure that he did. He was also a member of the American Legion Post 18, Elks Lodge 446. He organized retirees' dinners, funerals, which is supposed to be mine, and fundraisers, and would be the first to show up to help with anything. He also spent the last several years working with Funeral Chapel, where he was there with families at difficult times. He was involved and helped coach his son in baseball and football through the Monroe County Youth Football, Tri-North Football, and Bloomington High School North Football, where he also served as president of the class of 2021 12-man club for the Bloomington North Football. He loved the Pittsburgh Steelers, Notre Dame, and Bloomington North Football. He was the best father to his children and supported them with everything he did. He is survived by his wife, Carrie Dooley Levisic, his daughter, Madison Dooley, his son, Robbie Levisic, his mother, Ellen Marie Lynn Albrecht, father and stepmother, Rob Dale and Mary Kay Levisic, his sister, Gina Dunford, brothers, Michael Levisic, and Emily and Scott Levisic. He was preceded in death by his grandparents, Louise Matthew Levisic and Pauline Levisic, Michael Cavanaugh and Bernetta Cavanaugh, stepfather Jay Albrecht, and father and mother-in-law Mike and Emma Dooley. So again, it's a great privilege for me. Rob did the same for me as he did everyone. He even bought me a uniform, and I haven't worn it yet. I plan on wearing my casket, and but also helmet and bunker clothes and such. So the thing that I thought more about when I was thinking about Rob was how he greeted people, everyone. I believe he had that gift that God has given us. And the Lord said the greatest gift that we can have is love. And Jesus himself said, and a new command I give you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you. And I believe he did that. I believe he kept the things in life that were so important, which says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the earth. I know that he loved his family, loved his wife, or that is not love, but loves. He still loves them. You know, that's the one thing that never fails, is love. Other things will come to an end, but it's the one gift and the one thing that lasts forever and ever. And it's meant to be that way. All good things come down from heaven above, and I think that God gave Rob a special gift to work with people. And the gift of being a servant. Let he that would be greatest among you become your servant. That's what our Lord did, and served, and he even died for all of us. And I know that Rob would have and did in some way lay down his life for other people. He became that servant that you could count on. If I wanted to find out something about the department, or one of the firemen that was ill, or perhaps that died, I would simply make a call, and if he didn't know readily, he would soon find out and get back with me and let me know. I know that there's several speakers today that got a lot of wonderful things to share with you. I am so glad for the privilege that I've had to know Rob, and to meet his family, his father and mother, stepmom, and brothers and sister. And I had met his children and wife a long time ago. It's just been a great honor for me. I think he was that person who set an example, a very high standard, an example for other people. I think that all, and everyone said, he's my hero. That's what his children said. I think he became a hero for most people that knew him. He went the extra mile, which is what servants really do. It's the greatest thing in the world. to serve other people. The highest office that we have in our country, a president does not reign as president, but he serves the people. And that's what we're all supposed to do, to serve one another. And that command again that Jesus said, let us love one another, even as I have loved you. There's a lot of things I could say, but I know that there's a time element too, and the family has so many special things to say. But this one thing for sure, I want to say that I knew his wife's family ever since we were just children. And there's one thing, that Bob was one of the smartest guys that I ever known, because he married the same girl twice. on purpose. He did it on purpose. They loved one another even when we were apart. That's why I said we got to get back together, and they did. And what a wonderful thing, you know. But God is good, and also real quickly, Bob was funny. He had a dry wit about him, but also sometimes just a blunt thing. And he would say, "Well, Harold, you got all them people there. You better take up a collection for the church." But we're not really going to. But anyway, he would do things to me when he'd introduce me at our get-togethers. That's what he would say, something like that. Said, "Hey, don't forget to take up an offering." Anyway, I appreciate everyone that's here. I love Rob. I will miss him. I will not forget him. He is a great guy, and one day, when we get in heaven, it says, "You'll know even as you're known." I expect to see him there, and we'll have a lot to share then, eternity. So it's good to be here. Thank you all.
Robert Lee Levisic, U.S. Marine, firefighter, Union president, coach, friend, son, brother, uncle, husband, father. Bob was a lot of things to a lot of people. An awful lot of us gathered here in sorrow and sweet memory. I'm John Hamilton, the mayor of Bloomington, where Bob lived during the last 20 years. I was a colleague of Bob's, a friend of Bob's, a recipient of Bob's generosity and big smiles, laughter, and golf lessons, and personal support, and political advice, like I can imagine with a wry smile, "Hey Mayor, don't screw up this funeral service. Let the professionals do their thing." I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to bring some words personally and on behalf of the Bloomington community, which Bob served so well. A wise man once said, if you want to understand what makes a community really work, what holds it together and makes it special, look for the love notes that people give the community. Peter Kayama meant, look for actions, big or small, that people take to show special care. It could be a little garden in a forgotten corner lot, or a coach bringing a team to a pool on a day off, or a thank you note to someone having a tough month, or a volunteer frying fish for a fundraiser. These love notes, big and small, are what delight people, surprise people, win people over, help people get through. They help everyone feel loved and cared about, and they create community. Do you know anyone who has given more love notes than Bob Levisic? How many of us here can name one of those actions, or a dozen, or 100 that Bob took to make people feel welcome, cared for, seen, loved. Chief Moore said Bob was the first person to welcome him to town 6 years ago. Bob said nobody should be alone in Motel 6 their first night here, and he took him out to eat. Lee Chapman, you'll hear from both of these, called Bob a yes man. He always says yes to a request, like running the 4th Street Festival cookout, raising more than $120,000 for Shop with a Firefighter program. I personally know Bob to have said yes to so many requests, so many times, he saw a chance to help and stepped up. You all have your memories. Bob was a firefighter through and through. Volunteered for 4 years while in the Marines, and 25 years as a professional firefighter. He served as president of Bloomington Metropolitan Professional Firefighters Local 586, and numerous offices in district and state organizations. He saved lives. He organized trainings. He raised standards. He served the public without hesitation or expectations. Bob led the Honor Guard for years. I mentioned he personally organized and led more than 100 funerals for active or retired firefighters. So you know he would mean it when he said, don't screw this one up. And as I know most of you know, Bob gave this community a very special love note related to 9/11. That terrible day was particularly devastating to the firefighter community, particularly heroic day. And Bob believed in heroes, human heroes, everyday heroes. It's very fitting that we're here in Ivy Tech. Thank you, Chancellor Vaughn and all, for hosting this ceremony here, just steps from that memorial that Bob made happen. I had the privilege of attending quite a few 9/11 memorial services, sitting next to Bob, watching him embody the dignity and the honor of those ceremonies, watching him steer our eyes and our hearts and our memories to the beam that he brought back from Ground Zero, now enshrined in that beautiful memorial to the victims of 9/11 and the values that they lived. Bob's personal connection to that memorial and that event speaks eloquently about his loyalty and sense of honor to those who serve, a personal commitment to do whatever it takes, from driving to New York to pick up that beam with his family, to inviting speakers every year, to 1,000 little things, all adding up to one more ongoing, beautiful love note to this community. Firefighters and first responders are and always will be at the heart of that memorial and that ceremony. We'll hear more from that community in a moment. Let me end with non-firefighter Bob. I met Bob through politics. Before I was mayor, Bob was a union leader, naturally involved in politics, and he ran a political action committee. I've met a lot of people in politics. Bob was one of those in politics for absolutely the right reasons. Not for himself, or for power, or for acclaim, or for jollies, though he loved to have fun. Bob was in politics to get good things done for real people, mostly firefighters whom he represented. Better conditions, better equipment, better safety, better retirements. And also for the whole community, for more people to have better lives due to his efforts. Simple, really. Bob was in politics to help people, period. One of the good ones. And my wife, Dawn, and I were remembering non-firefighter Bob, how he was so fun to be with, how he just couldn't not smile and make you feel better and more optimistic and hopeful and just glad to be around. How Bob always left you feeling better after you were with him. That big smile and laugh, infectious, unstoppable. You couldn't help but be a better you after hanging out with Bob. I really don't know anyone who so wonderfully combined a great, deep, palpable dignity at times with also just gut-busting humor and great spirit. Most of us can't carry just even one of those well. Bob carried and lived them both beautifully. This beautiful man wasn't with us long enough. He's gone too soon. A lot of us are hurting. We expect and we plan for more time. But Bob lived such a deep and wide life. He blessed those of us around him. We are brokenhearted to lose him, but so blessed to have walked with him. Levisic, great name. Some of us might have a little trouble spelling it exactly correctly. But we know it starts with love. I know without the E, that's right. Love. Bob's name. Bob starts with love, and he ends with love. The family, the extended family, especially to Maddie, Robbie, and Carrie. Bob couldn't stop talking about you. Sharing how much he loved you. Was so proud of you. Carry that with you. Feel those ripples and the echoes of his care and his pride and his love come right back to you, surrounding you always. To firefighters and first responders, feel that honor and respect that he embodied and cultivated in our thanks for your service and embracing one of your own and each other. To our community, let us take lessons from this life, this good man, this loyal friend, and dedicated public servant, keeping our eyes on the prize, making things better day by day, laughing along the way, saying yes to help, and taking care of each other with fierceness, loyalty, and love. Rest in peace, dear friend, Bob Levisic. As a salute from the city, you served so well, Bob, and to family and friends, today, July 13, 2022, is officially proclaimed to be Bob Levisic Day in Bloomington, Indiana. Amen.
That was wonderful, Mayor, and you captured Bob brilliantly. I especially like the point Bob made, political advice he gave to you and many others. Don't screw it up. And that's great, because you heard him say that. I mean, you could hear Bob saying things like that. He said it to many people. And I want to take a moment here. I'm Tom Hannafy. I'm with the Professional Firefighters Union. We just retired as president of the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana. Bob served 10 years on the board. I've known Bob and his family for over 40 years. Today I'm here representing President Tony Murray, who's a new president, newly elected president of the state union, the executive board, who is, most of them are present here, and the 7,000 members statewide. Many Bob touched. And it's great to pay tribute. And the best way for fires to pay tribute is to remember the good things. Well, many years and times we're going to mourn. But today I see this as a celebration of life. and celebration. I know Bob believed in a higher power. I know he did. He knew there was something in another place. And he's looking down on us today. I too, I share that. I share that's true, that there's more than just this life. And the memory lives on. Those great memories that the man described. Like, don't screw it up. So I probably will today. So, just see a few, like I said, on behalf of our members, I'm going to say a few words here, and move it on. The good news, it's a little lengthy, but the good news is, I talk fast. So, as I mentioned, I recently retired after 20 years as president of the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana, where Bob served on the board for 10 of those years, but I knew Bob before that as local president, and I've known him and his family for 40 years. I worked in the firehouse with his brother, with his dad, Bob. And if you want to work in a fun firehouse, go to Station 33 in 1981, because it was fun. And if you don't know where Bob learned his demeanor and attitude, it's right there. I mean, that was back when his dad was really thin. He was thin as a pinky, and as loud as Bob. That's not a lie. And trust me, we'd be on a busy street up on Moeller Road in Indianapolis, and you could be across the street, and you could hear Bob Levizik playing cards with everybody. The cops came in, and it was a lot of fun, Bob. I'm sorry, so Bob got it. Bob and Mike got it legitimately. A little bit of lunacy is a good thing. Anyway, so I also, so I mentioned about 33. I also worked with Mike, his brother, as a local 416 officer and in the Speedway, as a representative of the Speedway firefighters, and he's done a great job with that. And they both are dedicated, and I think they got a lot of that union love from your influence, Bob. I know you guys, the whole family are proud of him. So I asked, getting ready for this remarks now, and thank you, Kerry, for asking me. I forgot about the double marriage. You married both the skinny Bob and the chubby one, as I look at that is true love. That is true love. And we loved you very much. But it's I really appreciate the minute the Reverend addressing that, because I wasn't going to mention it. Anyway, I asked the board members of the Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana when I was asked to say give remarks, to send me some memories. A number of them said, "Oh, no, I can't talk about that." So, but one brother who is a battalion chief, is just retired, left the board same time recently, and he wrote something, and it spoke to me. I was going to take a few things, a few stories or something. But Ron Mickles here is a firefighter, battalion chief up in Fort Wayne Fire Department. And he wrote this, and it reflected Bob's work with us at the state union. And he captured it. And so I'm going to say this on behalf of all our members. They are mostly, I changed a few things. That's Ron's words, and I'm going to read them. So, my memories of Bob begin and end with the same thought. Passion. I should mention, Mike, I didn't see yours before I got this. There's a consistent story here, and I appreciate that. Passion. Bob was passionate about everything that was important to him. Every single time that we were together, he would update me on the activities of his family. He was very proud of Madison and Robbie, and always led off the conversation with their activities. His enthusiasm for Robbie's football opportunities were contagious enough that I began following his games throughout junior high school and high school on the internet. You weren't that good. But if you talk to Bob, you're going to make the Steelers. He always had their best interests at heart and wanted them both to achieve their full potential. Which, you know what the full potential is? You're achieving it. You're happy. You loved your dad. You loved your family. All your family. Loved your mom. Yes, he did. Bob cared deeply for his country and the United States Marine Corps. You've been around those guys, they're a little bit twisted. I'm a veteran, I'm an Army veteran, but Bob was part of that team, and he was very proud of it. His sense of duty must have been evident to all at an early age, and he carried that through his entire adult life and career as a firefighter and union leader. This passion also shined while addressing Bloomington Fire Department IFF Local 586. He was willing to do anything to advance the cause of his department and local, and if things were headed in an obtuse direction, he was fearless to speak his mind and attempt to correct the perceived injustice. His passion for the PFFUI was never more evident than when he advocated on the executive board to realign the district boundaries for the benefit of all members in the southern part of the state. This effectively put his seat on the board in jeopardy and forced him into a contested election. Bob lost his seat and never grumbled about it. He did what was best interest of the members. He cared passionately for what was best for his members, our members. He knew that he advocated for what was best and took comfort in knowing that all firefighters were better represented because of the stance he took. Bob was also passionate about his friends. He always made time for conversation and refreshments every time the PFFUI board met, and never missed an opportunity to listen to others share their stories and experiences. His enthusiasm for social activities was legendary and occasionally led to an opportunity to demonstrate his passion for Crown Royal. Now, I am representing him. Ron wrote those words, not me. Didn't say they were wrong, just telling you, I didn't write them. Bob was a loyal friend of all of us, and all who served with Bob will cherish his memory with fondness and with a smile. Rest in peace, Bob. Keep in mind today, the love he had for life. Bob lived 53 years, but he lived 100 years. With all the people he touched and how he addressed life, and the legacy he left behind with his family, the people he touched. Thank you for allowing me to be here, Matt. I'm Kerry. Old guy stuff. Thank you. Rest in peace.
Before I start, Tommy, I would just like to say I could have made the Steelers. Also, "Don't screw it up" was my dad's catchphrase. That's about all I ever heard from him. My dad has always been my best friend. No matter where I was in my life or how hard things were, I never looked forward to being around anyone more than him. So many people here, I know that you guys see him as this big, tough Marine fireman, but to me, he was always the most sweet and compassionate man I ever had the honor to be around. I tell you, I can't remember a night where he didn't give me a huge hug and a kiss on the head and tell me how much he loved me. Moments with him just always had a way of turning into core memories that I know I'll never forget. Whether it was a wrestling show in Indy or just sitting on the couch watching our favorite show, every time I was with him, it felt like that moment was the most important moment to both of us that day. Whenever I looked at my dad, I saw someone who I wanted to be just like. For everything, he was always my hero and the person I knew I could come to for everything and anything. Trust me, I know how proud he was of me. You can take one look at his Facebook and you can tell. But I could tell him one more thing. I'd tell him that I was just as proud of him and just so proud to be his son, to be coached by him, and just to be his best friend. I was so proud of him. He was the best. Sorry, I'm trying not to cuss because I'm too much like my dad. I almost let him slip out. I just want to give a heads up. I want to thank God every day that I was able to make so many memories with him. And even though I lost him a little sooner than I would have liked, every day with him was amazing. And right now it feels like a little piece of me is gone, but I know that through everything, he's going to be looking down at me. He's going to be pushing me through everything. He's going to be cheering me on. I'm going to miss him so much, but I know he's going to be there for me through everything I'm going through in my life. Thank you guys so much.
I would like to start off with a quote from my father.
Yeah!
I'm sorry, but thank you truly, all of you, for being here. It's a bit overwhelming to see so many faces, so please bear with me. I met my dad when I was 4 years old, but I didn't know it at the time. All I know is that I now had to share my mom with another person, and I was not at all interested in that idea. At a pool party one day at my grandparents' house, I did the meanest thing that I could think of at the time. I stuck my tongue out at him. He laughed and stuck his tongue right back out at me. I could not believe it, but from that moment forward, I knew I had met my match. Not long after this, he taught me how to ride my bike. He learned to put my hair in puffs. He baked my birthday cakes. And he and my mother blessed me with an amazingly witty and wonderful brother, Robert Lubisic. What an honor to have such a name. All of the things my dad did for me were an extension of the love that he has for my mother Carrie, which I now as an adult see was an extension, was an unconditional love for me as well. Purely by choice, he chose to join my mom in raising me and took on the role of my father. And he was that. He is that. He is dad. He was only ever dad. From that moment on, it only made sense. He challenged me when I needed to be pushed. He pulled me back when I strayed. He held me still when my world was spinning. He helped me uncover sides of myself that I had no idea existed, and reminded me of my powers, strengths, and abilities when I felt weak. I will never be able to thank him enough. Those who have come to our rescue at this time show me how deeply my father was both loved and respected. To our Bloomington Fire Department family, thank you, thank you, thank you. Although I know my dad probably verbally abused half of you guys, I hope you know the deep, deep amount of respect and the strong sense of brotherhood that he felt towards all of you. He was a true public servant dedicated to the department, and I could not be more grateful for your dedication to us at this time. He was there for all of you in so many ways, so thank you for being here for us now. His dear friend Matt Stewart recently said to me, he always fought the fight. He was the first one in the door and the last one out. Stewie, I don't think that I could have put it better. My dad fought for his brothers and sisters on the department. He fought for his community, for his country, and for his family. He was an angel on earth to all of us, and although it is painful to say this, he has earned his wings. Thank you.
could see angels' faces, and they hear your sweet voice, go rest high on the mountain, sung your word on earth is come. Go to heaven, shout love for the Father and the Son. Go rest high on that mountain, sung your word on earth is come. Go to heaven, shout love for the Father and the Son. Go to heaven, shout love for the Father and the Son.
Good afternoon. These were some really good speeches that I have to follow, so sorry about your luck. If there was one word that would describe our brother Rob, it's passion. Passionate about life, passionate about his family, passionate about his beloved Corps, passionate about the Union, passionate about firefighting, passionate about the Bloomington Fire Department, passionate about all the members he represented over the years as a union representative. He was always passionate about whatever it was that he did. His passion for everything was unwavered. That same passion was also what made him hard to deal with. With as many politicians and administrators as Tess do, he was a handful. He was never wrong, and he would never admit it if he was. It is a Levesic trait that is carried by all men within the family. He always did his homework about the topic he was going to discuss, and nobody caught him unprepared. And if by some reason you caught him off guard, he was so convincing you still believed what he was saying. And if you even questioned him after that, he gave you that patented Bob look. You've all seen it at some point in time, like, come on, you know I'm right. Bob was a social butterfly, as a lot of you can attest to. He never met anybody that he considered a stranger, and he was always quick with a handshake, hug, or a resounding, yeah. Bob was passionate about everything, and it shows by the love and support given to our family during this difficult time. And I know it will continue for Carrie, Robbie, and Maddie. So to all the Bloomington Fire Department, carry on, as Bob would want you to. Work hard, play harder, and live life with passion. Because if you do that, you will honor his memory. On behalf of the Levisic family, we all thank you for have honored Rob today. If you are not a donor, become one. Because that was Rob. Godspeed, Rob. We love you till we meet again.
Great stuff today. Good afternoon. Everybody said that Bob always told him not to screw up. He never worded it like that to me. My name is Lee Chapman. I'm retired from the city of Bloomington Fire Department after 32 years. I'm here representing the fire department, but more so my personal friend and brother, Bob. It's going to sound strange, but I'm going to tell you guys, I'm the luckiest guy in here today because I got to work with Bob on his last working day, this past July 4th, at the Elks Fish Fry. We were doing what we both live to do, serve the public with pure pleasure. Bob donated his time to so many things outside of the Barton 2, American Legion, Elks, VFW, Bloomington North football, just to name a few, and I know I'm missing a lot. Bob took it upon himself to bring back the 9/11 memorial that the mayor talked so well about. But it was out of his love. It was out of his love for what happened on 9/11 and other brothers that he took this upon himself with his family to bring it back. I was told yesterday that in Bob's memory, Ivy Tech was going to be planting a tree out there and put a plaque in front of it in Bob's memory. And they've invited you guys to all come here September 11th for the dedication. I saw on social media this past week, Facebook, some stuff from our, just some posts and stuff like that. And one caught my eye. It's from, I don't know if it's a the fire department Facebook page or not, but there's a lot of quotes in there, and they're perfect quotes. It was, anything that happened at our department with Bob's new position, or even before he got his new position, if we needed something, someone, the quote was, well, Bob will get it. And now they're worried about, who's going to answer these, I don't know, go ask Bob. Bob knows. Bob can get it. That's stupid. Bob knows. And that's just touching it. The mayor said something about yes men. Bob was my yes man. He never knew how to say no to anything that would benefit others. Something we don't have these days. We use the word irreplaceable at times in the fire service community without meaning. The other night in my thoughts about Bob, the word irreplaceable came to mind. And I said to myself, it would take a platoon to replace Bob. Well, I didn't know how many were in a platoon, so I looked it up. And the meaning of it, when I Googled it, was 18 to 50 men. After knowing that, students not enough to replace Bob. Our department, talking about the Bloomington Fire Department, needs to come together and fill this void. No small feat, but doable out of love for a fallen brother. We had fun times too, through hard work, like the city employee cookout one year. I don't remember volunteering for it. Bob just told me we were doing it. Well, there was 3 of us up on the cook trailer cooking that day. I don't know how many we were cooking for, 300, 400, I don't know. We were doing hamburgers, hot dogs. And I mean, it was hot that day, and we were up there cooking on that trailer. And the chief said out loud, "How do you know when these veggie burgers are done?" And Bob, without even giving it thought, said, "When they hit the bottom of the trash can." He didn't say it exactly like that, or his verbs were a little different, but we got the name. Going back to my last day with Bob on the 4th, Bob was outside doing all the fries over a hot fryer under a tent. It was hot that day. I was inside frying all the fish over fryers. No one's there to help us clean up afterwards. That's our job. After we got all cleaned up, really worked our butts off that day. We finally sat down for a few drinks at the table. First time we sat down one day. Bob was sitting right next to me. I looked at him and I said, "Hey Bob, how did you enjoy your 4th of July? Well, I can't tell you his response. But we both laughed about it. And then we talked to each other about it. It's just like, you know, we basically called each other stupid because we don't know how to say no. And I know Bob, I've said no before out to American Legion for some stuff. You know who they turn around to next? Bob. And he's right there with the big fat yes again. That was a great day for Bob because I know after we're done there, he said he's going to go home and he wasn't going to do anything. Nope. He just wanted to go home and relax, get in the pool. Terry told me later on that was probably one of the best evenings they've had in a long time. They just really got to enjoy each other. There was nobody stopping in the house or anything. And she just had a beautiful time. They both did. It was a great day. You know, the following day, he got to go up north with his son. Carrie couldn't go because she had to work. But he got to go up north with his son to help his father celebrate his birthday that was coming up following day on a Wednesday. You know, it was just perfect. Bob hadn't taken a day off. I don't think Bob had taken a day off in a long, long time because of his new position and how anal he was about wanting everything to be perfect. He went up north, and we brought him back. Families thanked me so many times this week and last week for just being there for them, you know? And I know if it was reversed, Bob would do the same for me and my family. But I know one thing, you do better than what I've done. I'm so honored by you, the family, for allowing me to be so close to you. And that won't stop here today. We will continue to be close. I love everyone. Thank you so much. Bob was born, baptized, and raised as a Catholic. Through talks with him, he'd become never distant from the faith, but he wanted to become more involved. He will be buried today in the Catholic tradition. God gave another beautiful angel today. Last week. I know he went to heaven. There's no doubt in my mind he went to heaven. I will live out the rest of my life as Bob did, only praying I could be reunited with my brother that I love in heaven. God bless all of you, Bob's family who love him. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Craig Kitty. I am State EMS Director, and I'm here on behalf of the Indiana Department of Homeland Security, the State Fire Marshal's Office, as well as the Indiana EMS Commission. We always appreciate the opportunity to thank a public servant, but in this case, it is particularly true where we can thank someone that has such exceptional service. I do have some of the credentials that he has. We've talked a lot, and it's going to be hard to trump the personality and the great human traits that Bob exhibited. But he was certified with fire with driver operator aerial, driver operator pumper. He was fire inspector 1 and 2, fire officer 1 and 2, first class firefighter, hazmat technician, instructor 1. Those are just highlights. There are so many other certifications. From my EMS perspective, we have not heard today, but he was also an emergency medical technician, an EMT, and he served in that role since March 15th of 1995. We have heard he has served 20 years here. He also worked with Speedway Fire Department in Indianapolis as well. I think particularly notable is his service role outside of his regular work, whether it be with community fundraisers, but also honoring other retirees and honoring dinners and funerals, such as this one. It is said that service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth. Bob gave exemplary service to his country, both in terms of military as well as his fire service career. His service will not be forgotten. On behalf of the Indiana EMS Commission, we are going to be issuing to the family a certificate of remembrance that indicates that Robert Bob Lebisic, in recognition of his over 25 years of service as an emergency medical technician at various central Indiana departments, but primarily with Bloomington Fire Department and with the citizens of Monroe County, Indiana. Although he is gone from us, the spirit of his dedication, excellence, and commitment lives on. On behalf of the State Fire Marshal, I am presenting the recognition that they give, one of their higher recognitions, which is going to be the Meritorious Service Medal. Robert Lee Lebisic, Jr., Bloomington Fire Department, the State Fire Marshal Meritorious Service Medal represents several years of dedication to the fire service. In honor of Robert Lee Lebisic, Jr., for his 20-plus years of dedicated service and unselfish service to the Bloomington Fire Department, the citizens of Monroe County, and the great state of Indiana. For there is no greater tribute to life than the willingness to protect the citizens with your own life. I'll tell you, I've done a lot of hard things as the chief of this department. I tried to write something really short because I didn't know I could keep it together. Robbie inspired me. All the nice things that have been said. And it's funny, what can I say about Bob that hasn't been said? Bob was a lot more than a logistics officer. For me, Mayor said, welcome me to Bloomington. That meant a lot. Brought my whole family here. He welcomed us. I'll tell you what you don't know behind the scenes about Bob. Probably within an hour of them making the announcement that I was going to be the chief, I got phone calls from friends in Bloomington or in Charleston saying, "Who's this Bob Levisic guy? He wanted to know everything about you." I said, "Please tell him that you didn't tell him just the good things and the bad things. You gave him a good balanced perspective." They're like, "He didn't give us any options." He wanted to know everything, good, bad, and different, because he loved you. He wanted to make sure that I would take care of you the way that he would want. Personally, he was my mentor, my confidant, my friend, in a lot of ways, the heart of our organization. They say you never really know someone until they pass. I thought I knew Bob pretty well. Good Lord, I don't know how he somehow made more hours in a day than the rest of us humans have. I thought I worked hard. I thought a lot of our department members worked hard. And yet, he did all of that, was a yes man, saying yes to everything, being everywhere. He didn't take no very well either. Hey, no, Bob, you need to go take vacation. No, that didn't work out. Hey, Bob, you can't be here today. You should probably be off. Nah, probably not. But that was him. This week has revealed a lot more about Bob than I ever knew. Everyone that I've talked to didn't say, "Oh, it's, a few years ago, Bob was here," or "Bob did this for me." It seemed like he did everything last week or 2 weeks ago. I swear, everyone's like, just last week, Bob was here doing this for me. Bob was delivering coolers for my wedding. Bob was doing everything. I know I speak for everyone in this department when I thank Bob and his family. You shared him with us. Probably what you said, you were the most important thing. There's very few things Bob would talk about. Fire stuff, his family, Robbie, football, and Robbie with football, and Robbie, and it was a lot. It was a lot of Robbie. But you let him serve us. To the community that we serve, thank you for the support you've given to Bob's family and to our department. He loved serving people. He loved this community. And we've all benefited from his steadfast dedication. To the members of the Bloomington Fire Department, as hard as this has been, we know what Bob would have wanted. He wouldn't want us to sit up here and cry. He would have told us, besides to don't screw it up, to get back on those trucks and serve the public. Brother said that's how we will honor Bob. And that's all I'm going to say. We will do that. Because that's what he stood for. That's what he wanted. And that's what we will do. Knowing how much Bob did for everyone, I'm also going to tell you, you are all going to have to step it up just a little bit more. We will never, ever replace Bob. But we can live by his example. Thank you for letting me be here. We love you, and we will always be here for you.
I'll share one more thing. I want to tell you what Jesus said. He said, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe so I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, receive you and myself, that where I am there, you may be also. So we all have an opportunity to move from a life. I know Bob had a great life here, but the one that God has planned for us is much better. It's eternity, and I hope to see Bob there, and probably I've seen for most of you will. But anyway, I miss him already. I love Rob and his family. So glad to meet them. But we'll all miss him. You know, it says when we're in heaven, God will take away all tears. That's why we're supposed to use them all up down here. And so a lot of people think it's kind of a weakness to show your emotion and to cry. But I assure you it's not. It's one of the bravest things you can do, and God knows all about it. But I want to pray and ask God to help all of us. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for Rob. We thank you for his life, what he has meant to all. And many will miss him. And also there'll be a lot of tears shed. We don't ask you, Lord, to take away our tears, but just be with us as we go through these things, the emotions. And Father, you said you come to heal the brokenhearted, and there's a lot of those. And we just pray for your healing to come, Lord, and for us to just continue to remember the good things that we have been able to share with Rob in this life. Bless this family and all the friends that are here today, in Jesus' name. Amen.
The men and women today of today's fire service is confronted with a more dangerous work environment than ever. Forced to continually change our strategies and tactics to accomplish our tasks. Our methods may change, but our goals remain the same as they were in the past. To save lives and protect property. Sometimes this comes at a terrible cost. This is what we do. This is our chosen profession. This is the tradition of a firefighter. The fire service of today is still steeped in traditions over 200 years old. One such tradition is the sounding of the bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of the day's shift. And throughout the day and the night, each alarm was sounded off by a bell. This summoned these brave souls to fight fires and place their lives in jeopardy for the good of fellow citizens. When the fire was out, and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled the completion of that call. When a firefighter died in the line of duty, paying the supreme sacrifice, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced our comrade's passing. We firefighters, we utilize traditions as symbols. We reflect honor and respect for those who have given so much and served selflessly. To symbolize devotion that these brave souls had for their duty, a special signal of 3 tolls, 3 times each, represents the end of a comrade's duties and that they will be returning to quarters. And so, Captain Robert Levisic, who selflessly gave his entire life for the good of his fellow man. His task completed, His duties well done. To Bob, his last alarm, he is going home.
Uniformed personnel, you'll be dismissed row by row, starting from the back by Sergeant Greathouse. You'll receive direction on where to stand once you're outside. All other attendees, please remain seated until all uniformed personnel have exited. At that time, all other attendees, please proceed out the main doors and gather in the grassy areas and sidewalks to your left. Immediate family, honor guard, and pallbearers, please remain where you are. In honor of Bob, the Levisick family would like to remind you to always play like a champion by touching the sign at the exit door in true Notre Dame football fashion. Once the outside ceremony has concluded, Sergeant Greathouse will dismiss you to your vehicles and we will process to Valhalla Memorial. Please follow the posted signage at Valhalla to park your personal vehicles and fire apparatus in the appropriate area before gathering at the memorial. Thank you and go Irish. family of pallbearers and honor guard, please remain where you are, but at this time, all other guests may proceed outside the main doors, grassy areas to your left.
Uniform personnel, attend home! Prepare to rotate. Hurt! Uniform personnel, attend home! Present home! Veterans Honor Guard.